The two grand fortresses stood on opposite sides of the empire. The first warlord built his castle on the absolute highest peak of a massive mountain. He wanted everyone to see his power. He painted the walls bright red. He lit massive bonfires every night. He constantly invited merchants and rival lords inside to show off his overflowing treasury, boasting about how his walls were completely impenetrable. The second warlord built his fortress deep inside a dark, hidden valley, surrounded by heavy fog and ancient forests. From the outside, it looked like an empty ruin. He never threw banquets. He never invited guests. He never spoke about the size of his army or the depth of his wealth. He understood that true power is entirely quiet. When the Great Northern Invasion finally happened, the enemy army didn't even have to look for a target. The bright red castle on the hill was a glowing beacon. The invaders knew exactly where the treasure was. They knew the exact layout of the walls because the arrogant warlord had shown them, and they completely destroyed it in a single night. The enemy army then marched right past the hidden valley. They didn't attack the second warlord because they didn't even know his fortress existed. The first warlord lost everything because of his desperate, pathetic need to be seen. The second warlord survived, grew his forces in the dark, and eventually conquered the entire region because he mastered the ultimate strategy of war. He weaponized the shadows. In 2026, you are building a bright red castle on a hill, and it is the exact reason you keep failing. Look at how you operate. The moment you get a new business idea, you tell all your friends. When you start going to the gym, you post a picture of it online before you have even built a single ounce of muscle. When you plan to make a major life change, you announce it to the world, desperately hoping for their validation, their likes, and their applause. You think that by sharing your ambitions, you are holding yourself accountable. You think people will support your vision and cheer you on. Let me tell you the dark, brutal truth about human psychology. Nobody wants you to be more successful than they are. When you reveal your goals prematurely, you invite the evil eye of envy directly into your fortress. This brings us to the first principle of the ghost mind, the dopamine trap. Your brain is incredibly easily tricked. When you announce a massive goal to your friends and they say, "Wow, that's amazing. Good luck," your brain releases a massive hit of dopamine. It gives you the exact same chemical reward of achievement, even though you haven't done a single hour of actual, brutal work. You feel successful just by talking about success, and because you already received the biological reward, your motivation to actually execute the boring discipline required to build the empire completely vanishes. Silent men are dangerous because they refuse to consume cheap dopamine. They force their brains to wait for the actual victory. They starve their ego until the work is done. This leads us to the second principle, the architecture of envy. You must understand that your growth is a direct, blinding mirror to the stagnation of the people around you. When you tell an average, lazy person that you are starting a business or improving your life, they do not feel happy for you. They feel threatened. Your ambition reminds them of their own failure and their own cowardice. Because of this deeply biological insecurity, they will subtly try to sabotage you. They will offer you realistic advice that sounds helpful, but is actually designed to make you doubt yourself. They will point out all the risks. They will invite you out to drink when they know you need to stay home and work. If they don't know what you are building, they cannot destroy it. Secrecy is your ultimate shield. To protect your vision, you must master the third principle: operating in the dark. Look at the apex predators of the natural world. A panther does not roar before it attacks. It moves through the jungle in absolute, terrifying silence. The prey only realizes the panther is there when it is already too late to escape. You must adopt the psychology of the predator. Work in the dark. Study in the dark. Build your wealth in complete silence. Let the people around you think you are doing absolutely nothing. Let them assume you are ordinary, boring, and average. Let them completely underestimate you. Being underestimated is one of the greatest tactical advantages a man can possess, because it means nobody is actively building defenses against you. This brings us to the fourth principle: the information audit. A high-value man audits the information he gives to the world, like a billionaire audits his bank accounts. Every piece of information you share about your life is a weapon you are handing to a potential enemy. Your struggles, your finances, your relationship problems. These are all pressure points. When you overshare your problems to get sympathy, you are giving manipulators a map of your vulnerabilities. Stop giving the world ammunition. Learn to process your struggles internally. Learn to suffer in silence and solve the problem yourself. A fortress with no visible cracks cannot be breached. This brings us to the fifth and final principle: the shockwave of the reveal. When you finally finish building your empire, you do not need to make an announcement. The results will announce themselves. The sudden, undeniable proof of your success will strike the people who doubted you like a psychological earthquake. Because they didn't see the years of silent struggle, the late nights, and the brutal discipline, your power will seem almost magical to them. They will be deeply intimidated by your success, wondering how you achieved so much while they weren't looking. Let the loud men brag about their red castles. Let them expose their weaknesses to the world. You belong to a different breed. Tomorrow, stop broadcasting your life. Delete the announcement draft. Keep your mouth shut about your next move. Retreat into the fog. Lock the gates of your hidden fortress, and let your massive actions speak with terrifying volume. Write the words, "I work in the dark," in the comments below to lock in this unbreakable mindset. Stop talking, start building, and remain completely unseen.